Hey, aloha. Welcome to Korean Natural Farming Office Hours for August 6th, 2023. And let me get rid of that here. Oh, good fun using this here. There we go. Goodbye. Yeah, so welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Pure Canna Foundation sponsoring today. Master Joe up in the house. Let's see. Let's start with some higher wisdom because God knows I need it, and you probably do too. Let me switch this over and get that up. Yeah, so I think this is all working. Let me know if the sound's working for you. Seems to be working for me. I have no idea though if it really works. So, yeah, hey, how's it, Willie? Good to see you, man. Thanks for last week coming in. That was good fun. So, today is the marrying maiden, 54. In relationships, desire leads to misfortune. Behave with discipline and balance. Kui Mei is concerned with the guidelines for proper conduct of relationships, whether they be social, romantic, or work related. The image here is of thunder roiling on the surface of a lake, and it suggests that relationships can be disturbing to our peace of mind unless they're established and governed under proper principles. The nature of relationships is they begin to lead us into a desire state. We begin to desire another, desire recognition, desire retribution, desire a particular outcome in a given situation. All of these desires lead us away from equanimity that we aim to maintain as students of the I Ching. This hexagram often comes as a sign you are in danger of sacrificing your composure in order to affect a relationship. When someone does not treat you as you would like, you are faced with a choice of what to do. While it may be tempting to abandon the relationship in anger or act aggressively to produce a result, neither of these are consistent with proper principles. You are counseled instead to return to inner independence, acceptance, modesty, and gentleness. The greatest influence is always had through inner discipline and balance. Less subtle measures may produce more immediate results, but they are seldom lasting. This hexagram also teaches us that rushing into a relationship, rushing to resolve a relationship, or rushing to escape a relationship are all akin to rushing on ice. Each invites a painful fall. Seek to establish relationships slowly and on proper principles to allow them to evolve naturally and to resolve disputes with patience and reserve. If your primary relationship, that with the sage, is open and ongoing and devoted, then all other relationships will fall into place. So, oh man, my back hurts. Oh, I've been breaking rock all week, I tell you. So, trying to sit up tall, be proud, be happy, all those good things to resolve relationships with reticence, with patience, with reserve, to let things come, to let things go, and just to put out a good thing. Hey, Printer Bear, thanks for super chats, man. It's always good to get some Skrilla coming back because sometimes I feel like, man, I work hard to show up week after week after week for this thing consistently. Things come up in my life and rarely ever, you can look at it. I've missed maybe like 2-3 episodes a year, which means I show up about 49 times out of the 52 times. And it's usually because I miss it because I'm traveling someplace. And all kinds of stuff happens in my life but I continue to show up, So I appreciate it. And I appreciate that value that if I bring it to you, it comes back. And I know some people are like, oh yeah, but it takes a lot to make this happen. And appreciate last week, Willie jumping in there, coming in and just being ready to just talk story. And think people really valued it. And yeah, even Stonemason said last week, thanks, Willie, for your time. And thank you, man. It really was good. So What's up, Solar Gourmet in Germany? Um, and James coming from Tanzania, and Fire Fiesta Cranberry. Oh, what a good name. Has a question here, so may as well start off with some questions. I was gonna do an interview today, but some other things came up at the last minute apparently, and so we'll just go with that. I do have some things in the queue that I wanted to share and show with you guys. So, but let's jump into this question here from Fiesta Cranberry. It says, "I have a question. I have a question." Thank you. It's all. It's what the office hours are for. It's for asking questions. So feel free. Um, and they're saying they just set up a chicken pen about a month ago and noticed that the poop does last quite a while. How fast is it supposed to disappear? Um, and if you go check out Master Cho's talks on chicken rearing, chicken, making chickens, it's supposed to last about 3 to 7 days. And what happens is the IMOs, the microbes, start to climb into the chicken poop and they start to kind of decay and break it down. So if your poop is lasting on the floor like it looks like it, it you may not have enough IMOs inoculated into your system, and or your chickens aren't stirring the floor around enough, um, or it's just there and it's kind of petrified. So having the poop dry out, like if I go in my chicken coop, not my chicken poop, but my chicken coop, and I look around, there's not much manure being left around. Like it, sometimes what I'll do is right under their roost is we'll put like one of those cement mixing tubs, those kind of big or soil mixing tubs or whatever you're using it for, under there and put a metal grate on top of it, and then they'll poop in there, and then it'll go into there. And because it's plastic, there's not microbes. It'll collect the manure a little bit easier if I want to use the manure for something else. Um, and sometimes they'll poop like up on the I have trash bins in there that I put grow maggots in. They'll poop up there, and the manure lasts, it stays for until I scrape it off with a paint scraper. So if it's not in direct contact with the floor and not in direct contact with the microbes, it can last quite a while. If the microbes are going to get in there and start to break down those proteins and break down your manure. And if you're concerned about the poop lasting too long in there, then spray it with some KNF protectors, the lactic acid bacteria. Spray that on it, and it'll help to digest it down. Main thing is that it's not stinking. Manure can last around a while, but if it's the anaerobes and the kind of bad microorganisms, not necessarily bad, they're just bad for our situation, are eating it, then it will stink. So if it's not stinky, I wouldn't worry about the poop accumulating too much unless it really accumulates a whole lot. And then the last other thing is that if you're, like if I put grass in there that's like longer than 6 inches, 3 to 6 inches, they're gonna crap and they're not able to turn the material. So the crap will just accumulate. So I don't know if any of those question or any of those answers solves what you're up to, but let me know. I mean, here's your question here. I guess I can, because I'm using StreamYard, I can put it up here. So if that answers your question, nice dog, by the way. If that answers your question, let me know. Otherwise, we can kind of go further into that to see. And says here, poops are on the ground, no stink. I have bantams. Oh, sweet. And they do scratch, but I also stir every day. I used hemp as a base. Interesting. Yeah, if your material's too long, they may not be stirring it all the way in. And yeah, so the dog is actually the girl Susie. Awesome. What a cool dog. Looks fierce. So that, that's yeah. So if they're stirring it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And if it's not stinking, that's the main thing. Um, and otherwise, pull some of it out and use it in your garden. But you can always put down a little bit more IMO to help it happen. What's up, Ben? Yo, man, I think about you guys a lot. Often think about my students, and especially when I'm out working on the yard or in the garden. Think about you guys. So, um, yeah, quail sometimes gets poop balls. Interesting. Poop balls. Cool. Well, anyway, so hope that kind of was helpful. Um, there is something wanted to share with you guys, and that is here. Let me just do this way. Let me see if I do this and then I do this. No, it's not how I want it. What about that? Okay, there. Yeah, let's do this screen here. And so I wanted to show you a little overflight. Flew over my land with the drone for August a couple days ago, and so I just wanted to share with you the August overflight because some of the things I wanted to talk about are look at so right down here. Let me move this up. Right down here is my neighbors, and look, they just poisoned this, and then they're growing a bunch of sweet potatoes. And over here is a cattle farm where my wife and I call it Screaming Cow Ranch. They basically wean off all the little baby cows and put them into this thing and load them into. You guys can't see them kind of in front of that, but they load them into these cattle things and basically have 200 screaming cows you can in this cattle pen here. And every 2 weeks or so they'll have about 200 cattle that they'll ship out. And then my neighbors over here are starting an ava plantation, and they're building this new house over here. So they're going to turn like this 200 acres in the middle into an ava plantation. And then this right here is turmeric that these really nice Mexican guys are growing. But this here is my land. This is my pasture. And I just want to show you, like, I don't know if you can see this, but this pasture was pretty darn decimated. And then here we are restoring it. And so what I'm doing here is I'm dropping barrels of fish. So just raw fish waste that I'm dropping. And then I am putting IMOs on it. And so look at the difference in the grass. You can see where the barrels have been dropped. And over the past couple months, I've been just dropping barrels, and you can see them, right? You can see the grass is different. You can see the microbes are different. And look at this pasture over here. This is my neighbors, right? And they're just kind of letting it go. You can kind of see the difference between this one and this one in terms of what the IMOs are doing, how the grass is changing very rapidly. And so this is a project I've been working on here. Is restoring this pasture, because when I got married last year, I basically put my cows in here and just let them overgraze it to the max. And they really decimated this pasture because I wasn't here, so I couldn't rotate them. So I'm doing a lot of quick cattle rotation, moving them about every 5 to 7 days and keeping them healthy and happy. And then this pasture here, this middle one, had all this really tall, like 8 foot, 10 foot tall elephant grass. And I just locked my cow Daryl and her son Igor in here for a few months to like just, and I overgrazed this on purpose to knock this grass back. And now that they knocked it back enough, I'm probably going to get in there with the mower and mow it down so that I can kind of eliminate this type of grass, because it's not that great for grazing. And this field here, we're going to turn into Ava. We're going to do a bunch of different things, but time, energy, everything, it's hard to do. So right now we are, I overgraze this on purpose to get rid of this type of grass. And then I hook their water bin up to a pipe that comes across here to fill it up easy. But right now, so I just finished overgrazing this on purpose. And then up here, this is the upper pasture. And right here in the middle, this is kind of a spring that comes out of here where these ferns are. A spring comes out and then it flows through this center. And right here, there's California grass, which is really good, nutritious grass. But on this side and this side, it's really pretty poor. And this is broom grass, which is extremely poor grass. And so this pasture, if you look, this pasture compared to excuse me, this pasture, you can see the difference that the fish and the IMOs have made because these two pastures here were kind of overgrazed that entire time. I let the cows go on this entire um, pasture while for like 6 months or so because I just overwhelmed doing too many other things. Um, and then now I'm just starting to graze them. So this right side here, I put an electric fence right across here, and I'm just starting. And then there, I have another water bin right here down in the corner, and I'm just starting to move the cows into this area. But this pasture is still really poor. And so I just finished, and then yesterday or 2 days, because this video is filmed a couple days ago, so just I just moved the electric line basically like to here-ish, across here. And so now I'm slowly moving the cows, and I'll move them, and I'll basically keep them in a paddock this size, like 2 cows in a paddock this size for little like a week, little less, like 5 to 7 days, something like that, and moving them across. So you can see their crap starting to accumulate, get more material in there. And then I need to do more IMO spreading and more IMO spraying, to follow up after them and to really do these pastures. So I'll get to what I'm doing with that. But you can see how basically I don't just let them graze a whole paddock because they'll eat just the good grass and leave the crappy grass behind. Instead, I lock them into like a smaller area with a electric fence so that they will knock down the grass enough and eat eat it and concentrate their manure more. And I'm in the process right now of combining my two herds. So I have the mom and her son here, and then as I start to fly across here, I'll show you. This is my neighbors, by the way. Again, growing grass or growing trees in a grass field. That's probably not going to work too well. But you can see the difference between um, my pastures here and my neighbor's pasture, where he's kind of overgrazing these things, and I'm doing rotational grazing. And this pasture right here, I've been resting for almost 6 months, 8 months, almost like almost a full cycle here of long time. And look at the lush grass. So I'm about to move those cows across that valley into here. And then I'm going to combine this herd, which is now 3 cows, with the herd over there, which is 2 cows, and have a 5 cow herd, which will help to kind of mob graze it down a little bit faster. And so this pasture has been rested, but essentially what I'm going to do here in the center is build a little building like this one here. I'm going to build a little building here and then put in a water tank and have it so that I can get the water system set up in the center of this field, and then divide this pasture into 8 pieces as I do it with electric fence each time, and kind of build, you can imagine I put in quadrants and then divide the quadrant diagonally. So I get these 8 star-like patterns coming through to move the cows. So I'm working on that, and in combination with IMOs and rotational grazing, really trying to build this land back up from being just like pretty terrible pasture. So going across here, I've been working on this pasture. Just got these 3 girls here aligned, and getting them. I built this little thing here, which I thought was gonna be for sheep, but it turns out I'm using it for the cows. But have the a roof with a water tank, and then I just got this water tank this week. Was able to pick it up. So I need to do some repairs on it, and a valve is coming. I had to buy it from Amazon. It's amazing what that rainforest produces. Um, and then I'm gonna hook that so that this will have 250 gallons in addition to this 100-gallon tank there, so that this, I can cache water off this roof as it goes, so that way I don't have to, because right now I have to drive my tractor up here. You can see I drove the tractor up, and then I have to fill this with 55-gallon drums, and that's really really hard to do because driving off this little cliff right here and then this raised road with the tractor with 200 gallon or 100 gallons of water in the front, it almost tips the tractor forward. It's like pretty darn dangerous. I lower the bucket. It's like each time it's like it's a rodeo of trying to do that. But as you fly over here, you can kind of see, how these cows, I put them in this paddock again will be divided into 8 slices off this center house. And you can see how that in just a few days they knock this grass down. Then right now they're actually rotated into this eighth section of this um oct, oct I don't know if it's an oct, not a fourth, but an octave um, of the pasture here. So they were here, then I rotated them into here. And then this pasture here, this whole pasture here is dedicated just to our dairy cow. This is our Guernsey cow. And because she's a high performance animal, I keep her by herself. We're milking her every day. So, I need to keep her on fresh pasture and keep her really well. But you can see off this barn here, this is our milking stanchion right here. And I have the roof that then fills up this tank. So her water is self sufficient off this. And it's a bigger roof, which is nice. But, she's always in here. And so we have 250 gallons of water for her to go. So I do all this filming with a Mavic Pro. I'll show you later, but it's a drone right behind me. So anyway, we just restarted her on this, but she basically rotates, what is that, counterclockwise around here on these big, in this pasture, I basically divide into 10 parts. And so I'm trying to rotate her around this entire clockwise or counterclockwise thing every 70 to 80 days. Um, and that gives it enough time for down here she was just down in this pasture, but in 80 days, 70 days, by the time she gets back to this pasture, the grass will be nice and lush again. And you can see the grass is nice and lush up here, and it kind of rotates as it goes down. It's not as lush going that way. So I try to rotate her so she doesn't come back to the same pasture till about 80 days later. And so and then it's kind of hard because I rotate her through my road that I drive up to the barn. So now I got to go over here. But anyway, that's its own logistical things. And then coming around, just, you've seen the pasture. I don't know if you can see the difference. And then getting up to the barn here, I'll show you a little bit later on this. I'm doing a special project up here, the barn, but I did just graze. Let me go back a little bit here. I did just graze those 3 cows, the 3 ladies in this area. So instead of mowing, because this was pretty heavy grass coming up with my bananas, I just grazed the cows in here. And these bananas are all planted for my pigs to eat. But it's not doing that well right now. And I'll get to that later. But they did the bummer about rotating my cows through here is like it's good for the bananas, but it's terrible for my sugar cane. They just annihilate my sugar cane. It's like, oh my gosh, so I'm still trying to figure that out of how to do it properly to get them to not eat the sugar cane. But you can see this irrigation pipe coming off this drench tank that I have back here to drench all this, and I need to get more motivated to do that. But here's the barn, just kind of an overflight. And I actually lately I've been working a whole bunch down at the river, putting in a project down there. But these bananas doing pretty darn well. These ones not doing well. These ones doing okay. And need to. So I'm working on a separate project to work on that, but kind of see this overflight here. And I've been working down here a bunch, so I haven't been working too much on my farm. But you can see my drench tank basically takes, yeah, right there is where I've been working, right over here on my river. But you can see again, I got this huge, water comes off this roof, goes into this drench tank here, and then I'm able to put my natural farming solutions in here, and then run this 2-inch pipe out and put it where I need out here to kind of drench this this lower banana field. And that's been really successful when I do it, but lately I just haven't been doing it as much. Um, and then you can see as it kind of pans over this field here, um, I also put fish and IMOs. You can kind of see everywhere there's good grass coming in. That's where I've been putting the fish and the IMOs in. And then down here, a pig got into the land and was destroying all over here. But my wife is actually transplanting different varieties of grass into this areas that it rooted up. And then right here, this nice green spot is where where I ended up processing my last cow. We processed her in the field right here. And so all that blood and guts and stuff went in to grow that good grass right there. Um, but this, you can see again, here's my milk cow being rotated through. So she's knocking this area down, and we just finished. She just had the pasture run about from here to here. And so she was on this edge. Um, and so you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see the lines from where the fence used to go across, as I rotate it, where it goes across. But we rotate her off this barn. Um, and like I can't plant the river. Like I don't know if there's a comment about that, but this is like a super steep hill. This is like a 200-foot hill here from up here to down here is about 200 feet. It's super steep, really dangerous for the cows to go down, and there's really no way for me to practically fence it down into the river. And so this here is not like you may not be like this is 200 feet, man. It's steep. Like when I go down to the river, I repel. I hook into I tie it off to a tree, and I literally rappel down to the river when I go down there. It's not that easy to get to. So in grazing out here, maybe one day when I finally get to it, I was thinking actually of putting my pigs out here and letting them just go out into this area. But there's wild pigs and there's other issues. There's wild dogs. There's all kinds of things. Um, so it's gnarlier than you'd think, and it's not like I can just yeah. So and then looking over my dad's place here, he just put in so he's growing really nice taro here and really nice pineapples here. And then he just put in these two rows, and again we put in fish and IMOs into these rows here, and he's going to plant more pineapples. And my dad's place is doing pretty darn well. His pineapples here just finishing up this summer. Really nice production off these from spraying everything. Right here, he has a huge thing of kabocha pumpkins, and doing amazing. And then his greenhouse is kicking butt. He and my mom both farming those, so really doing well with the microbes and all that. And he just finished mowing this yard and then collecting all the grass and then mulching these his garden beds here. So um and then coming over to my place, you can see my neighbors, they just basically till all this stuff up and go Babylon agriculture. They're really productive, don't get me wrong, they're really productive, but also super detrimental to the soil and the whole ecosystem. Versus my place, my sugarcane, all more jungly, about to run the cows eventually again through here, knock this grass back. Um, and my our food forest here kind of it's doing okay. I mean, it's really healthy and everything. It's just I, I I need to get out there more to make it more productive. I've been, like I said, busy doing other projects and things. But just looking around, the health of like my bananas over here, no Bunchy-Top, really healthy, doing well. These pastures, just when I do run the cows through there, amazing fertility. Got my tree rows in here, doing more food forest, syntropic type farming. Um, coming around, looking, we just started to plant a couple rows of taro and cabbages and other things here. Um, and then my lychee tree did really well, and my longan tree is about to be um, coming on. I got to cut down this tree, chip it up. But you know, all the my ice cream beans and things I need to go through and trim them down. I kind of let them grow all summer, get a bunch of carbonaceous woody material in there. Um, and I got to cut down these tree rows and mulch them into where we're actually farming good stuff. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little overflight of what's going on there at the farm. Um, and then the drone I use is this little guy. So the Pure KNF Foundation was able to acquire this drone. But this little it's a Mavic Pro. I don't know, DJI Mavic. Awesome little thing. And fly it, it folds out like this, fly it around, and it does all my filming. And what I've been doing is I used a program called um, Litchi. It's almost like lychee, but it's not. It's like Litchi. And I set up a route so that basically that route that you just saw it fly, I have it pre-programmed in. So I just say, hey, fly this route, and push the button, and it flies the route automatic and has these different points of interest that it points the camera at as it's flying. And what's cool is I've been able to fly the same route every month after month. And I try to fly it at least once a month. And then what it does, eventually I'll be able to take, because it's flying the same route, then I can do some cool video manipulation of, time lapsing this thing, because it's always flying the same route time after time. So looking forward to doing that eventually here. I just, got to find more time, energy, money, all these things to be able to afford to do that. So, like everyone, it's there. Um, so anyway, hope you enjoyed that little overflight there, showing what's up, what I'm doing. And then, um, yeah, um, yeah. So it's good to see the whole crew getting in here. I'm glad I, do this, week after week, and you guys enjoy. Trying to show you some valuable things and what I'm up to, and share. So, so Shaman King here got a question on. I just put it up here. What can be used to get rid of termites in a cactus? Um, and um, termites in something, it sounds like it needs more health to it. If something's boring into something, can of structure is going to be crucial at giving it that calcium phosphate, like protective metal layer that it needs. Um, uh, I mean, some termites are going to be natural. I was just watching a guy that's talking about, it's like, yeah, you do get some bugs and things when you're doing things naturally, but you're also building a better, more robust, healthier ecosystem. I would say more IMOs, good IMO to get it around and put it in there. Um, you know, uh, and if you really want to get rid of the termites directly, then use some Jadam pesticide, sulfur type of thing, and kill those, and then come back and then put in the you know uh, good microorganisms and rebuild your ecosystem from scratch, basically. And good IMOs and spraying maintenance regularly. If you're able to get out there and do it, it's what's going to make the difference. Um, so yeah, that's I don't I don't really suffer from termites eating things, but I would imagine you increase the health of the plant, it will fight back those termites naturally. Um, yeah, and I could make a bigger mouse arrow. I know I usually make my mouse bigger, and or I also have this thing where I can make my mouse. So I'll try and make my mouse bigger. But you gotta just full screen that thing and full HD it, man. Or get your Apple Vision Pro and turn it on and no plug into the matrix fully. But yeah, so um and then Andrew here is, I'm just gonna say Andrew because I know is asking about, is it okay to make KNF medicine in 1 liter jars instead of half gallon ones? Sure. Smaller batches, you should be fine. Um, I would say not to make it in like pint jars or like those tiny, tiny ones, but a liter just size jar should be fine. Absolutely. Make a smaller batch. Do it. You should be great. Um, I would recommend that. Um, and then what's Daniel talking about here? Need to grow grass on 3 acres of mostly red cinder. Will spraying liquid IMO and mowing the weeds down help bring the land to life? Yes. Is the red cinder too inert for the IMO to thrive? No. It will break down. Obviously, the more um, organic matter you can get out there, like if you also put in some wood chips and some things, leaves, whatever, scrape up things, put it down, it'll help. But grass is really tough, especially here in Hawaii. The liquid IMO will help to break down that cinder. Red cinder is the most resistant to growing other things. It's just, just the nature of what makes red cinder. It's just not that fertile. But put it out, red is indicating it's like older rock and somehow that stuff comes up. So but just um go for it, man. Liquid IMO is going to be your best friend to break that stuff down. um you know get some can of fuel out there and just and throw grass seed out there, and it will find a way. Grass is tough. It will come in, and if you keep mowing the other taller stuff down, the grass will come in. You'll create that organic matter. Just keep doing it that way. It will work, man. Just get after it. Um, so yeah, thanks, Sao. I don't know how to say that, Sao. I'm just gonna say Sao. I'm not sure if that's how. But really nice farm. Thanks. Yeah, I've been working on it for a while. Really, even Jonathan was saying it looks great. I've been, you know, really trying to bring back this dead cane land, pasture land, and make it fertile. So, um, is the Mavic good for a beginner? Yeah, I mean it's kind of costly, um, but a Mavic Mini or something would be good to get up there. You know, I- yeah, I would definitely recommend DJI drones though. They're great, good things. And yeah, so yeah, and then the Goofman says he made his OHN in 1 quart jars, and when he was done, he had 3 gallons of OHN. So yeah, it's quite voluminous from just even small things. So yeah. Um, yeah, if you're gonna go into town anyway, you can pick up the county mulch and bring it and add to the cinder. It'll just help the grass grow, and just mowing it and all that stuff. Um, and then Kathleen is asking here if she lives in South Carolina, where can I get the right dried cinnamon, licorice, and angelica roots? I'm not sponsored by these guys, but I always use Mountain Rose Herbs, and I'm just gonna go like this, um, and I always use these guys. I should be sponsored by them, maybe get a deal from them. I don't know. Let's see. Can I do this? Yeah, is that there? Yeah. So I use these guys, Mountain Rose Herbs. I just go to herbs and spices here, and then I just search here, cinnamon, and you don't want the powder. Let's just view all 68 results here. But these cinnamon sticks, or actually what I end up using are these right here. This either one of these I think will work. I think master. Let me just open 2 tabs here and see. One of these is that's not this Verum one, although I think this will work. Um, or I guess maybe this is the true cinnamon. Is it? I don't know. I always get messed up. I should probably give you the correct things, but yeah. So this one helps with stimulating the heart and cooling the digestive system. So this is a good one to use right here. These sweet chips, cinnamon sweet chips. I don't know if this one or Bermani, maybe. hmm, there's certain ones that I don't know. I would definitely okay, so let me just go and say I recommend this one because I don't want to get into the whole thing of live undermining myself. But here, this one here, and what I usually do is get a pound of it. It's kind of pricey, but 1 pound is enough to do, I think, 2 half-gallon jars of this stuff. I'm pretty sure I should probably get all these known quantities together. But yeah, basically, I'm pretty sure you can do it that way. I should go back to my OHN and then so I use that one and then Angelica. You really want to get expensive, go to this one, the Angelica root. This is the most pricey. A pound is like 48 bucks, but this again, it'll for sure make at least 1 half-gallon batch. I'm pretty darn sure. I don't know because I haven't done it for a while. I have so much of this stuff that I haven't done it for a while. I really should refresh my mind. If anyone knows, drop it in the chat of how much. I mean, I can pull up the recipe. It actually says what you need. And Ben is also in South Carolina, so let me show this. He says, um, and he can share with you if you need some. So was a student, is a student of mine, was here. Amazing guy, really really kind, amazing, sweet gentleman. So I use this one, and then the other one is, what did you need? Licorice. So let's just look up the licorice really fast. Licorice root. Let's see what they got. So again, don't use the powder. The powder will turn into all kinds of bummers for you. But I end up using this one. Let's see, I'm gonna pull up both these. I think this is the one I ended up using for them. And it was 35 bucks, but now it's only 17. Talk about yeah. So it's only 17 bucks. So order now. Tell them I sent you some stuff. Maybe one time they'll give me a discount. I don't know. But I think the Glabara works. I don't know. I really should. If you search the thing, I've talked about this a bunch. I don't know. I haven't loaded this in my brain to be answering you on the spot on which one's the right one. I mean, I think either of the licorice will work though, but I think it's the Glabara that you want. I don't know, man. Somebody should pull that up. In fact, I have my book. Why not? Why not just look at the book and see what the heck it says? Because I have this stuff in here, and let me not just be a fool and use my own resources here. But let's look at the book and go to the knfMedicine, because it's like, why do I just make stuff up? Instead, I should look at the book. And here you need 200 grams of dried herbs. So 200, what is 1 pound? 200 grams. Let me see. So per half-gallon jar, this is a half-gallon jar recipe. Let me just pull up this converter and see if I go to, wait, and I go to 200 grams is 0.4 pounds. Yeah, so I was right. So if you buy the pound thing, it should make 2 batches of this stuff. However, the Angelica, you are going to need more of it because you do 2 of them. So you need to buy 2 bags of Angelica to do 2 of things. It's a bag per OHN. So I should just always reference the book. Why do I do other things? I don't know. Why not just look at my own information here? But basically 200 grams per batch, and this is a half-gallon jar recipe. Okay. I don't know if that's clear. I could try to make this stuff more clear, but basically, so each, if I get 1 bag of cinnamon, it's going to make 2 batches. If I get 2 bags of Angelica, it'll make 2 batches because I'm going to need 4 jars of Angelica. Anyway, yeah. And then do I have the actual which ones they are? No, I don't have it here, but it is in it is in this other book. But anyway, I've talked about it before, so go back and search the office hours. Let me just see. knfsupport.com, search the office hours, and go search for licorice. And here, December 18th, 2022, it was talked about the garlic, cinnamon, licorice. These were all talked about. So if you search this and you look up this, and I also talked about mountain rose herbs, amazing. So thanks to Suze and the Pure Can Foundation for helping with these things. But here we went over this and talked about the things for sure on that office hour. Also November 20th, 2022, it looks like, where was it? Let me just go and say licorice. And then it's talked about the types of licorice and cinnamon here. So if you search and you're able to use this thing here, is talked about the 45-minute mark on this episode, which was November 20th, 2022. So you can easily go back to past episodes and find those as well, which is always good because I don't always have this stuff loaded in my mind, but I do have references and things out there. So, okay. So let's see here. Going back. So if I wanted to make the rest of the nutrient content of a water-soluble phosphorus made from dock, where would I send it out to? Or what is the name of the test for a liquid nutrient content? Like you're saying, like chemical tests for things? I don't know. I send it to my university, or I would contact a university nearby you with an extension. Yeah, I would say, for me, in this case, let's see here. If I go, let's see this one, that one. If I go, like, if I just look up Manoa nutrient testing, I think they do it testing your soil, like here. Like a university will have these things. These are soil samples, but they also do like chemical testing of certain things, or at least they'll know who to go to. And this is the university near me. So I'm sure your university will have something like that. It's usually quite pricey to do, but you can do it that way. So they're all into like divide and conquer and like find, assays and analysis. It usually is pretty expensive though. Anderson here. I live in a Corniferous forest. Is it okay to grab IMO in that kind of soil rather than leaf mold? I think that's like pine needles and stuff. You want to look for broadleaves. So if you can, look for broadleaves around you if you find those in the forest. But your IMO is your IMO, but broadleaves are better to find what you're looking for. So just to let you know, coniferous. I don't know, coniferous. Yeah. So coming through. What is this saying? The cactus are for human and livestock consumption. If jejunum sulfur is used, how would we wait to get rid of the smell before consumption? And then don't use the sulfur, man. Yeah. I mean, you gotta wait. The thing is, the sulfur gets taken up into the plants. It gets really kind of nasty in there. Anyway, so just don't you find something else. So my garden turned pathogenic fungal after last insanely rainy summer, and the soil gets extremely compact, and now the plants have rust, anthracnose in the leaves. What can I do? KNF protectors, man. The lactic acid bacteria, it's in the book here. They're your best friends for getting rid of that kind of thing. Early, often treatment, dose them up. But the KNF protectors here, let me just share like this. These guys, the protectors, the lactic acid bacterias, you got to get these guys in there. They will deal with compaction. They will deal with all that. So make your lacto from milk, collect it out of the air, make it, spray it, spread it. It'll help with all those problems you're mentioning. Oh man, let me drink a little water. Oh, okay. Yeah, and thanks Daniel for clarifying. You can make 2 batches per pound. Okay, coming down. Yeah, okay. So Ben's saying he also got his herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs, but it takes him a long time to ship. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Cool. You guys are near each other. Hopefully, you guys can meet up. Ben is also super good. He's certified to teach you. Learn from him. He's great. He's a great guy. Yeah. So thanks for the resources. I try my best to put out this stuff week after week and month after month and putting out these things. Yeah. So doing those things, getting into this. What's up, tinfoil hat scholar? I think he's going to be on next week. We got an appointment. Look at his healer. Nice dog. And so, okay, let's see. What is the goofman say? I almost went and got my master gardener degree. Did not see the point of spending over $400 on getting it. Not really being able to go outside the extension per the local rules. Yeah. You got to watch out, man. Universities, they'll teach you, but you also got to learn. Okay. So last little thing I wanted to get into here with you guys. Speaking of healers, speaking of good things, speaking of great things, I wanted to show you project I'm working on a little bit here. And go to this one. We'll go to this one. Look at that nice healer. It's a healer Dalmatian. Look at her. She's pretty amazing. My dog Hina. She's getting pretty old now. She's a year old. She had her first heat. So what I wanted to show you is they got this little drone here. It's going to help us out. But what I'm working on right now is a project where what we're doing is we're spraying this area. So this here, you can look at this. This is a close-up of the barn area from the aerial drone I showed you earlier. But what I want to show you is look what's happening here. I didn't spray since March. I had some catastrophe happen to me in early March, and I basically quit spraying. And so it's been like 6 months, or at least 4 months of not dealing with this. And what this is banana Bunchy-Top. All these plants, you can see them dying off and dying. And it's my fault because I haven't been doing KNF, and I've been watching them die. I go there every day, and I watch it get worse and worse. Some are still putting out good fruit. Some are still doing well. But basically, I've let Bunchy-Top spread into this. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually, I don't know how I sped it up, but all these plants are now getting Bunchy-Top. So it's now my project to try to, no, I don't want to go to, right, just play regular speed. Okay. So now it's my project to come into here, and I flew this drone on this pattern, so I'm going to continue to fly. But what I want you to see is like, look at these plants. They're entirely sick. They're doing really poorly. So this is a great test case. Can KNF resolve this? Which it's my fault for letting this happen, right? I could have the entire time prevented this by being out and spraying and doing all this stuff. But I tell you what, getting out spraying, it's hard. Staying on it, it's hard. It's all this. So what we did is we got this little machine right here, and we got it um, as a thing to help us. And so what I want to show you is also this, that basically, I'm not sure if the sound's going to come through for this. So maybe a better way to do this is for me to go this way and to grab this and do it this way here for you. And shoot. Okay. Um, let's see here. So what I'm gonna do instead is go like this and then throw this thing in there. Aloha. This is Drake with the Pure KNF Foundation, and today we're getting out our DJI agricultural drone, and we're going to start spraying for banana Bunchy-Top. So part of our research is we're using this new agricultural drone and going in and trying to get the natural farming solutions dosed right so that we can then be effective at deploying this modern technology with this ancient natural farming to solve real-world agricultural problems. For us here on our farm, we've really been having a big problem with banana Bunchy-Top. I don't know if you can see behind me, but these trees are suffering from Bunchy-Top, and basically the whole trunk bunches up and the fruit has a really hard time coming out, and it will eventually stunt the crops and then almost even destroy them. And it is a virus, but we have found that putting lactic acid bacteria, the KNF protectors, into the top canopy can really be effective on controlling and mitigating the symptoms of the banana Bunchy-Top. So today we're doing our first test. It is August 3rd, 2023, and we are going to, well, I am actually going to mix a bunch of lactobacillus together, in water, and then spray that on this crop. And I'm trying to get the dosage and everything together, but I think today I'm going to do 25 gallons per acre and dilute the protectors 1 to 1,000, and also add in some KNF food as well at a rate of about 1 to 500 dilution. So we'll mix that up. I'll mix that up and then put it in the drone and then spray it out here and see. You're looking at it here today, but we'll see what happens over the next few weeks to months and see if we can make a big difference using Korean natural farming to solve these real life agricultural problems. So thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you as we progress through this project. Aloha. So I'm gonna upload that to YouTube, I think, and just sharing that with you guys who are tuned in here. But not exactly sure. Kind of wanted to keep the drone on the DL of like figuring it out, using it, getting it all right. But it's cool because it has a sprayer, and then I also got a spreader for it. The foundation actually bought this as a research tool for us. And so we're going to be using it to restore my pastures as well as treating the Bunchy-Top as a use case. And my main thing right now is I'm trying to get like if I dilute 1 to 2, 25 gallons per acre, which is Master Cho's recommendation, is that enough with the drone? Am I able to spray? Is that all this? So what's cool is the drone sprays it and then it puts it into the canopy and it's above, and it makes it, where I said like it's hard for me to spray each week. Now I have the thing where it can basically land the drone right where I am, mix tanks really easy, put it in and spray it out on the farm. And the interesting thing is the drone, it lasts about, you can spray out a tank in about 6 minutes. So it's spraying about 10 gallons every 6 minutes. Um, and so we'll see. So we'll see how it actually ends up working, and how, I want to do the spreader and take the bio, which is the pig pen floor from the pigs, and load that in and spread that on the pastures behind me over here that I was showing you earlier. And so see how IMOs work and see how the solutions work from this aerial thing, because I really think that this could be the answer for all kinds of problems. Like on the Kona side, they have this coffee leaf rust, which is just killing their coffee production. And if we could get the drone over there and come in and do it in a week or a day and spray an entire farm, like supposedly this thing will spray 25 gallons an hour if you can keep it in the air. So it has two batteries and you're constantly charging it off the generator and going into a field, and it's really cool. I'm not sure how much, like, I want to kind of get this idea together and get it together, and then I mean, it's good to spread as just a general thing, but then if you spread ideas like this, then someone else like jacks them from you and tries to do all this stuff, and you end up getting into weird things. But hopefully I can just be open source, trust God, trust everyone, trust the right things, have the right relationships, and that it'll all work out well in the right way. I mean, I'm trying to just add positive vibes to the world of really what's happening, but sometimes you want to like finish something and get it good before you share it. But I don't know. The nature of me is I always just share early, share often, and then it usually works out fairly well for me. But been screwed over a few times for sure. So, but anyway, I trust you guys. You're here at this, doing the right things. The drone is pretty fun, but it's also it's wild to operate by yourself. I'm trying to like, the other day I was trying to film it plus fly it plus fill it plus charge it all by myself, and it's like it's wild. But getting that thing up there, it's good. And I used Talus drones out of California, but um, I I'm only somewhat stoked with them. I'd really like it if they before I advertise a whole bunch for them, if I could get a sponsorship, because we're gonna need to do more business with them, and it would be good. Yeah, and I do think eventually we'll turn it into some sort of drone service where um, I could see that as something that I might move into as something that I may offer, because I'll have the KNF expertise, and then I'll have getting my drone certification license right now to be able to fly and come in, and yeah, modern crop dusting, come in and put it's funny, everything I see is dosing for like poisons and herbicides and fungicides, and I'm like actually loading in microorganisms and positive beneficial things. So I don't need like a pesticide application license and all this other stuff. And anyway, but there's a lot of regulations with FAA and all that. I'm just sorting through all that right now. So we're just doing a test right here on our farm before we go out to do anything for anyone else and all that. So, but anyway, just little preview of what we're doing. I'll keep you guys updated on, I basically plan to spray the banana Bunchy-Top either weekly or bi-weekly, meaning once or twice a week. And then I'll continue to fly my Mavic around that same pattern to see, the change in it, because I'm not, one thing with the drone, and maybe you guys can help me with this, is I'm not really sure how to do the testing and how to quantify this scientifically and to say this made a difference, and it was this dosage at this rate at this altitude at this speed, and all these things. Like, it's really hard for me to figure out how to like have a control and do these things and see if there's a difference. And I've had such a diverse polyculture that it's hard for me to like spray one area and not. And then just like Dr. Fauci, I got to take that. I got to dose the entire control group too, because, I got to, have everyone in the experiment, because otherwise there would be, you know, it's too safe and effective for, for anything. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure how to document the science on it, other than you can see it right now. It's pretty darn looking sick, and I hope that by my efforts, you'll see that it looks pretty darn healthy after a few weeks or months of this treatment. So hopefully the plants will recover. Hopefully we'll see the bananas come back to life. Hopefully I'll, see the pastures even improve even better. But I've already been working on the pastures, so it's like, how do I separate out what I'm doing from what I've already been doing from what I want to do? Anyway, I'm in a conundrum of how to prove that this really works, other than that, you know, y- a month or two after doing this, my farm should look like picture perfect, where just like there's no disease anywhere and it's just rich fertility. And that's pretty much my goal. So, anyway, that long rant over time. Really appreciate Printer Bear throwing down some super chats. We'll go, appreciate you guys tuning in, all the support, keeping the KNF community growing. Big thanks to the Pure KNF Foundation for helping me get out here each week and do this. And yeah, so I'll just continue to keep doing what I do and build relationships and try to, build better things. I think next week we're gonna have Tinfoil Hat Man. I say Tinfoil Hat Man, Tinfoil Hat Scholar on the show. We're gonna get into some regenerative ag conversations and those things. Hopefully, if everything goes right, yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna tune out and go here. I think I'm just gonna hit end broadcast. So thanks. Oh, check out my shirt before you go. Look at that. Yeah. If you want one of these, let me know. Maybe I'll sell some merch. But got the KNF microbe shirt going on. Made it just for you guys this morning. And anyway, okay. Love you guys all. Long live the natural farmer. Aloha. See you next week. Bye now. End broadcast. End broadcast.